Since day one in the Senate, I have fought to pass a farm bill that stands up for North Dakota's farmers, ranchers, and low-income families. In 2014, we passed a strong farm bill, which I helped write, negotiate, and pass. And since then, I've been working on the next farm bill. Now the Senate is incredibly close to passing the next farm bill, which we crafted with strong support from Democrats and Republicans. This important bill shows that the Senate can work to find compromise and support the American people. A key component of any farm bill is a safety net for farmers and ranchers during tough times, like crop insurance. It also includes a safety net for families who fall on hard times. Our nation is one of the most prosperous countries in the world. Yet, despite our great wealth, more than 1 out of 7 Americans live below the poverty line. And SNAP provides the critical food safety net for these Americans who are food insecure. In my home state of North Dakota, about 54,000 North Dakotans participate in SNAP on any given day. SNAP plays a critical role in helping these families put food on the table in what is oftentimes one of the most stressful periods in that person's life. Of those 54,000 North Dakotans, 43% are children, 28% are seniors, and about 4% are veterans. Families can find themselves needing this assistance for a number of reasons. First, their hours were reduced at work, they may have been laid off, or their places of employment have gone out of business. An individual may have been unable to work due to a disability or serious illness. Additionally, nearly 9% of seniors live below the poverty level. SNAP helps those seniors with their basic needs, many of whom live on fixed incomes. Not one of us can predict when an unexpected life event will happen to us. And thankfully, SNAP is available to provide at-risk families with the safety net they need. Very few people other than those with disabilities, the elderly, or others who cannot work stay on SNAP for more than 3 months in a 36-month period. Half of those new to the SNAP program will leave it within 9 months once they become financially stable. Yesterday, I stood here to talk about the critical bipartisan work of the chairman and ranking member on the Senate Ag Committee and what they have done for ranchers and farmers. This bipartisan farm bill includes a number of provisions that work to improve employment and job training opportunities and programs that help parents find new jobs or obtain new skills so that they can qualify for higher paying jobs. This includes expanding SNAP employment and training demonstration projects that were authorized under the 2014 Farm Bill. These pilot programs create more opportunities to build evidence on what works best in helping SNAP participants secure and retain jobs and advance in the labor market. Additionally, the Senate Farm Bill encourages states to create new public-private partnerships around job training and leverage existing private sector job training and leverage existing job training programs for SNAP participants. During consideration of the 2014 Farm Bill, the Senate Ag Committee, which I proudly sit on, also worked to responsibly cut $4 billion of waste, fraud, and abuse from the program, while protecting low-income families who rely on this life-saving program during times of need. The Senate bill continues to improve SNAP's integrity by preventing dual participation, by enabling states to check whether applicants have already enrolled in other states. In other words, the SNAP program, as laid out in the Farm Bill that we'll be considering, is a program that has the necessary reforms, has the necessary balance. No one in this body wants someone who is unworthy to receive SNAP benefits. But we also do not want families who need that critical benefit to find it onerous or impossible to access food for their children, food for their grandchildren, or food for our veterans. So a week ago, the House of Representatives narrowly passed its version of the Farm Bill by 2 votes, which would drastically cut SNAP. This partisan bill was even opposed by 20 Republican members. As a ranking member of the House Ag Committee, Colin Peterson said the following about the vote. The partisan approach of the majority has produced a bill that simply doesn't do enough for the people it's supposed to serve. It still leaves farmers and ranchers vulnerable, and it worsens hunger, and it fails to serve rural communities. This approach makes reckless cuts to the nutrition safety net, and in so doing, significantly jeopardizes our chances of passing a farm bill. Any effort to separate farm programs from nutrition programs threatens the urban-rural coalition that has kept the Farm Bill a bipartisan effort for years. Simply put, the House bill threatens these critical lifelines for struggling families, seniors, and Americans with disabilities. There's no place for politics when it comes to protecting these vulnerable members of our society. According to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, the House Farm Bill would cause more than 2 million individuals in more than 1 million households to lose their benefits. This simply won't impact single adults, but when a parent loses their food assistance, there isn't enough money to buy for the whole household, including children. The House Farm Bill would pull the rug out from underneath low-income families by expanding the already rigid work requirements in SNAP. This includes working parents, children, seniors, veterans, disabled Americans, and 250,000 children would lose their access to personal lunch. To school lunch. Last Saturday, I was asked to participate in a discussion with the faith-based community in my state about their concerns about the SNAP program. We were given at that time a couple stories that I think are significant for review here in the Senate. And so we want to start out by telling you about Kim. Kim is a woman, single mom, with 2 beautiful children. She lives in Bismarck, North Dakota. She works as an accounting assistant, and when she doesn't have full-time hours, she works as a substitute at area daycares. Since her divorce 3 years ago, her family has been eligible for SNAP benefits. Kim said, "We do what we can, but usually we're eating ramen by the end of the month. We don't want to eat cheap food, but there's never enough money to buy healthy food." To stretch their food budget, Kim tries to get the children to the Banquet, which is a local feeding ministry for meals 2 to 3 times a week. They also visit the local food pantry. She has told us that if I can only speak for myself, I am grateful for this program every single day. I'm working hard. If I don't have enough to eat, I can't work. If I'm not healthy, I need even more support. This is an incredibly common theme among SNAP families. I think it's worth mentioning that the average meal benefit in North Dakota, now I want to repeat this, the average benefit per meal in North Dakota is $1.32. You can't even get a bowl of Senate bean soup for $1.32. Next, there's Ricky. Ricky was born in Minot, North Dakota, where he grew up in poverty, and his family spent the majority of their lives on what was then known as food stamps. Ricky has since moved to Fargo, and a number of years ago, Ricky suffered an unfortunate accident in his workplace. So Ricky was working, got injured. He woke up in a coma 3 weeks later. He was later diagnosed with epilepsy, and he no longer can drive or work. Like Ricky, his parents are also disabled, and the program has offered them consistent safety net during their difficult times. From his childhood, Ricky recalls that his family rarely had money for food, and if it wasn't for food stamps, we would have starved easily. There were times when my family couldn't even celebrate birthdays because we didn't have anything. Now in his late 20s and living on his own in Fargo, unfortunately, the difficult times surrounding hunger are still a concern for Ricky. and for reasons outside of his control. Understanding his difficult situation and all that the SNAP program has meant to he and his family, Ricky is passionate about stopping lawmakers from making unnecessary cuts to this program. For Ricky and his family, the SNAP benefits they have received are more than just a benefit. They are a way of life and a lifeline. For individuals who are homeless or trying to get back on the right track, SNAP can even play an invaluable role in providing a bit of security. Folks who've benefited from the helping hand SNAP provides are all around us. They can be our neighbors, they can be our friends, they can be even a rural pastor. Many years ago, about 6 years ago, when I was traveling the state, I had an opportunity to have a discussion in a rural community. That discussion went something like this. Many people raised concerns about people taking government benefits when they didn't need them. I sympathize. I don't think that we need to stop fraud, waste, and abuse. But we know that those government programs are there for a purpose. After there was a long discussion about SNAP or food stamps, the room cleared. And a young pastor came up to me, and his wife was with him, holding their latest child, looked like about a 2-year-old toddler. And he said, I didn't want to say this in front of the community. I didn't want to tell you about this in front of the community. But I want you to know that I'm on SNAP. My family's on SNAP. We still can't buy milk. We still buy powdered milk to feed our children. If I want to do my rural ministry, I'm not paid enough to support and feed my family. So I'm working and I'm on SNAP. I can't afford food as a rural pastor. I think many times we don't realize those around us who are struggling, those who contribute as teachers aides, as CNAs. People are working hard who may be tripped up by some of the onerous standards and onerous bureaucratic requirements in the Farm Bill that was passed by the House. So I think it's critically important that we understand that there are very, very few people in America who are abusers of this program. There are very, very few people in America who would take a handout unless they absolutely needed it. They need a hand up, they need job training, they need sympathy for disabilities, and they need to know that we live in a country that cares for the hungry around us. And so as we consider the Farm Bill, it's important to remind ourselves about those who are not as fortunate as we are, those who struggle to put food on the table for their families, or who might not be able to put food on the table because we're laid off or their hours were reduced at their minimum wage jobs. The chairman and the ranking member in the Senate have worked diligently to find ways to continue to improve SNAP's integrity and operations. I hope the Senate votes on and passes this strong bipartisan Farm Bill in the next few days. And then I hope the House decides to keep working through August, just as the Senate will do, to reach an agreement and pass a strong Farm Bill before it expires and jeopardizes SNAP further. The Farm Bill gives farmers the certainty they need to get through tough times. And it's important that it also maintains a strong safety net to give the certainty to our nation's families so that they can get the support and food that they need at the same time. So I urge all of my colleagues to stand with the ranking member and the chairman and all of the Senate